Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back. I do hope marami kayong natututunan and you guys are enjoying our course so far. To continue our discussion, we're gonna talk about the elements of an obligation. So we have four elements of an obligation. From the very word element, it means it is a fundamental part or component that makes up a whole. Ibig po sabihin yan, pag may isa sa apat na yan ang nawawala or nagkukulang, we cannot consider it an obligation. Simulan natin sa active subject. This is the person who has the right to demand. Ang active subject can also be called obligee or creditor. Pero tandaan nyo, hindi porkit active subject ka doesn't mean ang iyong karapatan ay absolute. Hindi sa lahat ng oras ganun. It is limited by the terms of the obligation and of course it must be a lawful cause. In short, yes, as an active subject, may karapatan kang mag-demand ng action or fulfillment, pero depende pa rin to sa napag-usapan at yung nilalaman ng obligasyon. And then of course, we have the passive subject, also known as obligor or debtor. This is the person who is bound to perform or fulfill. So kung si active ay yung magre-request or magde-demand, si passive naman is yung gagawa or kikilos kasi kailangan niyang gawin. Now, si active at si passive ay connected sa kung ano naman yung kailangan i-execute or kailangan ibigay sa loob ng obligation, and we call this prestation or object. Of course, ang prestation ay dapat possible and realistic. For example, you cannot force an obligation wherein bubuhayin mo yung patay. Aside from it being realistic and possible, it must also be lawful. For example, hindi pwede maging legal obligation ang pagbebenta ng illegal drugs sa bansa. So, kung babalik tayo sa Article 1156 of the Civil Code, ang obligasyon ay pwedeng to give, to do, or not to do. And yung mga bagay na yun, those are the objects or prestation. And of course, para sa akin lang naman to, no? You can ask any professors, pero para sa akin lang to. This is the most important element, the juridical tie, also known as vinculum juris or cause. This is the legal reason why the obligation exists. Ito yung nagko-connect sa creditor and debtor and nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating binding force. In the future, we are going to discuss the different kinds of juridical ties kasi meron tayong from law, pwedeng from contracts, may quasi-contracts and quasi-delicts, stuff like that. But the main point here is, kung babalik tayo ulit sa Article 1156, an obligation is a juridical necessity. Ibig sabihin nito, if the obligation is not met by either the active subject or the passive subject, then we will have legal consequences and it can be enforced sa court. We have three classification of parties sa obligation. We have unilateral, bilateral, and multilateral. So pag sinabing unilateral, ito yung mga bagay na kayang gawin mag-isa kasi kailangan mong gawin mag-isa. Bilateral naman is when both parties are bound to perform the obligations to each other. And of course, multilateral, self-explanatory naman, more than two parties are involved. Example muna tayo sa unilateral. Juan, a Filipino employee, earns 500,000 annually and must pay income tax to the government. So when we say income tax, ito yung buwis na nakukuha natin sa ating sahod. The more na tumataas ang sahod mo, the more that you are required to pay tax. This is enforceable because of the law. So analyze natin yung elements ng obligation na to. Ang ating active subject, creditor, siya nga po ulit yung sinasabi nating the right to demand is yung gobyerno. The government has the right to demand from every one of us individually our taxes. And of course, Juan is a Filipino employee, he is no exception to this law. Therefore, in this example, Juan is the passive subject because he is obligated to pay his income tax. So, ano naman yung prestation? Well, obviously, yun yung income tax. And what is our juridical tie? It is the tax law itself. Pag ikaw ay hindi nagbayad ng tax, pwede kang makasuhan. Paying tax is a unilateral obligation to the government and it is enforceable by the law because we have tax laws. So, pag bilateral naman, we have two parties. In this example, Maria agrees to sell her laptop to Carlos for 20,000 pesos. Tignan muna natin yung POV ni Maria. Ano ba yung obligasyon ni Maria as a passive subject or debtor? she is obligated na i-deliver yung laptop kay Carlo. Si Carlo naman, siya yung active subject kasi he has the right na makatanggap ng laptop based nga sa usapan nila. Yung prestation dito is obviously the laptop itself. And yung juridical tie is yung usapan nila, the agreement. Now, let's have a look at Carlo's point of view. Ano ba yung mga karapatan ni Maria na kaya niyang i-enforce? She can enforce the right na makareceive ng payment. Ano yung prestation nila? The 20,000 pesos na kailangan ibayad ni Carlos. Si Carlos, he is obligated to pay 20,000 pesos, therefore making him the passive subject. And yung juridical tie nga nila is yung sales agreement, yung napag-usapan nila. This is considered a bilateral classification of parties because meron tayong dalawang obligation. Ang obligation ni Maria is ibenta yung laptop niya. Ang obligasyon naman ni Carlos is magbayad ng 20,000 pesos. So, tignan naman natin yung multilateral. From the word multi, ibig sabihin madami. We have 3 friends, si Ana, si Ben, and si Carla. They all agree na magsimula ng small food business together. And nag-assign sila ng kanya-kanyang roles. Si Ana, siya yung magpo-provide ng cooking equipment. Si Ben naman yung magsusupply ng ingredients. And si Carla, siya naman yung mag-aasikaso ng marketing and sales. Pwede naman natin tignan isa-isa yung kanilang point of view, pero i-summarize na lang natin. Lahat sila ay may karapatan na mag-expect na gagawin ng bawat miyembro ng party ang kanilang duties. Kaya lahat sila ay active subjects. So paano naman sila magiging passive subjects? Aside from the fact na lahat sila ay pwedeng mag-expect, silang tatlo individually ay may obligation to deliver and contribute. So ano yung mga napag-usapan nilang i-contribute? Yun yung prestation or the object of the obligation. Si Ana magpo-provide ng equipment, si Ben ingredients, and si Carla naman yung marketing. Si Ana at si Ben ay to give, si Carla naman is to do. And of course, ang kanilang juridical tie is yung business agreement nila, na if isa sa kanila ay hindi gagawin ang kanilang duties or commitments, malulugi yung business and magkakaroon ng legal consequences.